Good morning, everyone. I'm Philip Johnson, patient coordinator here at Dr Sponaugle. We're glad that you're taking the time to watch this video as we get to share lives of some wonderful folks that have come into our facility to be treated. And we get to know them and see their recovery. And so this is an exit video that tells, we're going to get a chance to tell that story. So let me introduce these folks to you. Tell us your first names.
I'm Pam.
I'm Teddy.
Now, do you guys know each other?
This is my son.
Yep.
All right.
We're from the Boston area.
Boston area. Teddy, how old are you?
I'm 14.
14 years old. Man, that is a great time to be alive at 14 years old.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to you being able to get back to a life, a brand new life in a sense.
Yeah.
Maybe some new energy and just see things in a whole different way.
Yeah.
What we're going to do in the next couple of minutes is just kind of find out your story. So let's just go back in time. Can we race, just go back through the years? When did problems start? And then we're going to find out what these were and what you found when you came here. So how far back do we need to go?
I think it's all started about 7.5 years ago. I went to a school field trip, and when we got back, there were ticks, right? And then a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks later, there were 7 or 10 bullseyes.
Oh my,
Those
okay.
big red bullseyes all over. And she knew what it was, but I didn't, because I was really young.
Well, the bullseyes, and I would probably say, Pam, that it's probably only 20, maybe 30% of the people actually get the bullseyes. Many people are bit by ticks or any of the vector-borne bugs and don't have any indication. So in one sense, that's a great alarm system. Hey, I found the bullseye. And so what happened then? Did you start getting sick immediately, or was there a time lapse there?
About 6 months later, that he really came down with symptoms that were severe enough for us to connect it back to the Lyme. We struggled for about 7.5 years before we came here, just going everywhere, every doctor in Boston. In 2010 alone, he had more than 100 doctor's appointments, blood draws, treatment sessions, all of it. We did everything that we could, sleep studies. We did, I mean, you can't imagine. And then about a year ago, last September, so a year and a half ago now, a year before we came here, Mayo Clinic, and they didn't even talk about Lyme at all, even though they saw it in his history. They didn't talk about mold for sure.
Okay.
And they really just said, it's lifestyle. You have to
Lifestyle.
Get more sleep and eat right and take salt. And I'm sure they help a lot of people, but I've at least in our experience, it wasn't what we were
It wasn't the case for you guys, and you're not the only one. It's often that is, again, it's neglected, misunderstood, misdiagnosed, and obviously the treatment afforded is either ineffective or none at all. Teddy, let's talk about you for just a minute, because I have a grandson that's about your age, and I've seen him suffer. And when I think of 7 years and 100 doctors or more, my heart goes out to you. And so you probably had no activities. There was probably not a lot of fun in your life.
No. The only really activities I did were, my school required 2 hours of sports after school, and that's really all I did. And I'd go home and I'd sleep, and I'd do homework, and I'd sleep.
But
that's really it.
Yeah, no friends after school at our house. And we counted up the other day, about 4 times he'd seen friends outside of school for the whole past year.
Yeah.
So the weekends were just lying on the floor. It's what all he could do.
No energy.
No.
Hard to process thoughts and communicate and have creativity, and of course then there's always aches and pains. From Mayo, is that when you came to us or contacted us?
No, that was a year before we came here.
Okay.
About a year. What really pushed us to be here and to search for you was we had a new blood culture done over the summer with Igenics that showed that the spirochetes grew in the dish. So the doctor would treat my primary doctor, and now his doctor. They're functional medicine. They're part of the Functional Medicine Association, which means they don't treat symptoms. They treat the root cause. So if anyone would know what to do, they had some Lyme literate doctors there, which put them on 2 very heavy antibiotics.
Okay.
And at the same time, and the straw that broke the camel's back was about a month after taking those, from September to October. once we had that Lyme culture back, was them saying he might have to stay out of school this whole year, and we don't know, and stay on antibiotics that long, and we don't know that it's going to work. So that was the third time he had been on antibiotics, just from this one tick exposure 7.5 years ago. And the good thing is that we never gave up, because I knew that it wasn't right. And then we said, oh, he's a teenager, oh, he's, needs more sleep, or
growing pains.
Or, exactly. Or he's a math whiz, so he's just analytical. That's his personality. Yeah. And I just knew. I remembered him when he was 7, full of life, vitality, would do anything, life of the party. He's so excited about everything, and just a wonderful kid. And he still is wonderful. But I'm glad to have him back.
It is wonderful that you had parents that just kept digging in on this, refused to just take the standard answer and keep looking, and that's wonderful. It's a big deal to have that. Let's talk about what you discovered about Teddy when you got here. We do proprietary testing, and you were probably told that we look at nearly 600 biomarkers. We create a blueprint, and that's all true. We do all of that. So that original consult with Dr. Sponaule, it's a long, lengthy consult. You'll find so much out about yourself during that time. So what did we discover about you at that time?
They found out MTF, 5-HT, what's it called?
MTHFR.
Yep.
Which is, let's talk about that. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, we'll talk about it.
It's a genetic disorder.
Methylation.
Yeah, methylation.
So for those that are watching this, it basically means you basically weren't detoxing very well on your own. That genetically, you were having some issues.
Right.
For folks that are watching it means that if you have some of these, whether we may call them mold genes or whatever we want to call them here, it means that if you breathe in environmental toxins or mold toxicity and a host of things, your body can't process it back out. You ingest it through your breathing or through a shower. You can pick up benzene and water, different things, but your body doesn't know what to do with it. And so even at a young age, you apparently had, was there, after we found out the genetic part of it, was there any toxins involved here?
Right, so he had free-floating Lyme in his blood, which we had known that already for the Borrelia. And we also found that he had a ton of mold. The alpha toxin, the ochre, and the tricho. Tricho was just alarming since it's a black mold. And our house, we thought, was very dry and not moldy. We never smelled anything. So we also found out that he had benzene, and that he also had protozoa rheumatica. So it felt like, because of his genes and because of his, from what I've learned here, his immune system was crushed either by the mold or the Lyme, since he had candida at 8 months old. And we lived in a moldy house back then for sure when he was born. The old family, homestead type of place, older home. He was born into that house, and so maybe the mold came first, and then once the Lyme was on the scene, it just was a double whammy. Well,
you said several things already. You talked about, we'll say bugs, but the protozoa rheumatica, Lyme. So we have a parasite issue going on. You mentioned yeast or gut issues from a very early age as well. And in our facility, we don't take that lightly. The gut issue is a big issue.
Absolutely.
And you have to have a healthy gut for everything else to be healthy.
Correct.
Probably every patient that walks through our doors has had a gut issue. It's been compromised either because of antibiotic use, because of the toxins, and so you have that issue going on. And then we're talking about benzene, and you always say, where do I get benzene? Everybody always asks that. How did that happen to me? And it could be a fume event. Like I say, it could come through water that we shower in, and there's just so many different sources of benzene. And it certainly, again, is a toxin that hits the body, hits the brain, compromises, and then we're talking about mold. So yeah, you had a lot going against you, and now, and I know we're going to bring you into this story as well. Were some of these same things going on with you as far as the toxins? Or?
Yes, we didn't realize that my medical issues were related to anything with Lyme, because I'd always tested negative with Western blot. as 56%, I think it is, or negatives are really
false negative.
false
About
negative.
58% is going to be false negative, and
Yeah.
again, it has to do with how healthy your body is. Is your body making antibodies for that test to be proper? You know, to show right. So yeah, a lot of people take the test, are told you don't have Lyme, when
Right.
indeed they really do.
So it didn't cross my mind that that could be the root of all my medical issues, and definitely had no idea about mold. So because a lot of the genetics came back for Teddy, and he got them from either me or my husband. My husband's very healthy.
Yeah, your mom and dad.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. And so because there's a lot of it was genetic, I said, well, I'll just get tested. And my medical issues, like Teddy's, are completely resolved. We have had an incredible experience here, and I mean, the list of diagnoses that we both had was tremendous. I mean,
I saw
so
the
many
sheet.
symptoms.
Yours,
Yeah.
it's a book. It's a book of all the symptoms that
Yes.
you were experiencing. So to catch everybody up on this, you know, you came here, we did our testing. You came in as a patient. We always do our testing before you get here, usually 3 to 4 weeks out. So the day you walk in, we're able to get started into the program. And through our healing IV drips, through our supplements, obviously. When people ask us, why are you successful? Why are you different? There's so many things that come into play there, that why we are a different facility. Number one would be that pre-testing that we do and all the answers that we get from that.
Yeah.
Number two would be the understanding. This is Dr. Sponaugle's research, understanding what questions do we need to be asking. It's never enough for us to bring you guys in here and say, okay, you got bugs, let's try to kill the bugs. We have to try to fix what's been compromised because of the bugs, because of the toxins, because of the gut issue. The brain. Why are you successful? The brain is always a big part.
Yes.
Lyme disease, mold toxicity always become brain issues. When your brain is compromised, it's that upper management of everything else that takes place. It shuts down, this is going to shut down. And so there's so many things. Our drips, our healing proprietary drips. Again, Dr. Sponaugle's researched this and perfects these even every month. It works more on this. The supplement protocol. Everything has a part, a big part in this. Now you guys have treated with us, we talked about, is it 12 weeks you were with us?
Yes.
And
I've
you
been
a little
here 12
less.
weeks. I've been here 12 weeks, and she's been here 10 weeks. Yeah.
So walk us through that. How did that feel? What were your feelings about it? Was it a good experience, bad experience? Were you?
Yeah. It was good. It was the first time we've ever really been to a clinic before for anything, so it was different experience.
Okay.
So it was new, and it was different.
Everybody take good care of you here?
Yeah, everyone's great. All the nurses and the guys who put in the lines.
The IV team, yeah.
The IV team, the Stephanie who mixes the bags.
Yeah.
And everyone's so great.
Let's talk about Stephanie who mixes the bags.
Okay.
Your drips were made individually for you every morning.
Yep.
And of course that's again based off the testing, not only the proprietary testing we do up front, but then we do weekly labs.
Right.
And we retest the brain chemistry, and we're looking again at the mold. And so every day that drip is made especially for you, and we put in them, you know, what we're trying to accomplish. If we have to work on your immune system, if we're trying to detox you, it's all individualized for each one of our patients. Again, it's another reason why are we different? Why are we successful? It's that individualized treatment that an individual gets. So everything went well. You guys have had this incredible, what do we talk about on this recovery? Let's spend a couple of minutes about that. You came in sick, you were shut down. We haven't talked about that, but I just imagine, you know, from all of this, everything from adrenals to hormones to gut to brain chemistry, all of these things get affected by all of that.
Yeah.
And your mother thinks so much of you. You're just brilliant. And this is a great. Now, how's Mom doing? Have you noticed any changes in Mom?
Oh yeah, a lot of changes.
Was she mean and gripey all the time ahead of time, and now she's a brand new woman?
She stresses a lot less.
Well, wonderful.
She doesn't worry as much. She doesn't need to plan ahead as much, but she still does sometimes. But
Well,
that's
that's
good.
not a bad
Yeah,
thing.
That's good.
Has her health improved any?
Yeah, she always looks better, and I can always tell she feels better just when I'm looking at her.
Yeah?
She just looks better. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And you've seen great improvements in Teddy as well.
Oh, night and day. It's truly a medical miracle because if you saw us, well, you knew us when we got here,
Yeah.
but we watched some videos of ourselves in the past couple of days, and again, it's even hard for me to remember how sick we were, just not even able to get through 2 minutes of talking about our treatment for that week. We made our
Yeah.
own little videos, and just I look so tired, and I can't even keep my eyes open,
Yeah.
and and I'm looking up, trying to search my brain literally for what I'm going to say. 20 years ago, in 1993, I was actually diagnosed with narcolepsy.
Okay.
This turned out to be not narcolepsy, even though I had been medicated for much of that 20 years. I couldn't drive a few miles without falling asleep some of the time,
Okay.
even on the medication. And the safety, this is a major safety issue. Many times
Sure, it would be.
I wake up on the median, driving on the highway,
Oh, my.
because the grass would jostle the
Yeah,
car.
wake you up.
I mean, I have 100 lives, I think. And so, this has been a life change for me because you can tell, just speaking to me now, my brain is much clearer.
You look
because
so
of the brain
alive, so bright.
chemistry.
Yeah, your countenance, both of you, just
Yeah.
faces lit up. So
Yeah,
if you told me you should just fall asleep in a
Yes.
conversation,
Oh, yeah.
it would be hard for me to believe that now.
Definitely, I'd fall asleep constantly. I've never seen the end of a movie.
Okay.
We've been in one of those big IMAX theaters where they really blast
Yeah,
the sound.
yeah.
And in the front row, right next to speakers, and she'd fall asleep.
She wasn't a snorer, was she?
No.
No, I'm teasing, of
You
course.
could never even tell she was asleep because
Yeah.
she'd be like,
Sleep
It's
through
just
it,
like,
never
I
saw
look
the
the
end of the
same
movie.
awake as I did
Yeah.
asleep.
Yeah, you don't-
asleep. Because I was asleep, basically walking through my life asleep with
My
my eyes
goodness.
open. I had to stop working about 3.5 years ago. I sold my company. I had written a #1 best-selling book.
No kidding.
Yes, and then I had a coaching practice from that, and I had to sell it. Between watching out for Teddy and my own medical issues, it was just way too much. And so I'm excited to go back and work with my husband on our company that we have together
Beautiful.
as executive vice president. So there's no way I could have done
There's
that
some big
before.
shoes to step into.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm really excited about that.
All right.
It's been really life-changing for both of us, and we're deeply grateful.
I know the doctor told me that if I hadn't been here sooner, I would have developed Parkinson's and probably MS and a whole bunch of other stuff, and then eventually my organs would have shut down. So this place saved our lives, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, we're deeply grateful, and for anyone who's watching, truly, this is what compelled us to come, because we
Yeah.
saw real people telling real stories of suffering and of miraculous turnarounds, and we were just so moved to call because of it. So if anyone has felt like doctors don't understand, or their own family, in my case, felt that I was it's just how Teddy is, it's how he is, and I just knew as a mom, I guess, that he deserved better than a life of just being sick all the time. All the time. And so this place, I've seen not only our recovery, which has been a huge turnaround and life changer, but the people who work here.
Yes.
I'm just so impressed with how the Dr Sponaugle, does his lectures. He will stay for hours and hours answering questions. I mean, the staff here, every single one of them really cares. And the people that you sit next to when you're getting treatment, they have the same story. They have the same shared experience, and that's a really amazing thing. As Teddy said, we've never been to a clinic before. We never had that shared experience where people really understand what you're going through. Finally, that someone doesn't say, "Oh, it's just a teenager," or, "Oh, just get more sleep for me." People just don't understand it. Not that they don't care, our family and friends and colleagues, but they care, of course, but
Sure they
they
do.
just don't understand it. Even the doctors sometimes. So it's been a wonderful journey, and we would recommend this center to anyone who sees this video. I mean, I can't think of anywhere else that we'd rather be, because of the staff being so caring and the research that's done every week. The reading that the doctor does 15 hours every weekend. You guys are all just so committed and compassionate and friendly. It's such an upbeat place to be, with everybody's so sick, and the patients just are laughing and sharing, because it just feels like a second home.
Feels like a safe place, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and it's full of hope.